All right, traders. Hello, welcome back. Happy weekend. And Connor, Saturday special, baby. That's what we're doing now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, looking at the markets over the week and then just bringing it to the viewers to see what we thought of the week and of course, what's going on the next week's, what we might think might happen.
Yeah. Look, I agree. It's sort of worked out pretty well, guys. Because obviously Thursday we don't really have enough information to go and say how do you plan the rest of your week, next week, and then really Connor and I we don't really trade Fridays. If you have any experience in the markets, if higher time frame, it's not really the best time to enter a trade normally, like 90+% of the time on a Friday because the price action is quite different. A lot of people are taking profits. It's the whole dynamic is a bit different. So yeah, I think the Saturday seems to work. And obviously, if you have a day job, you work during the day most of the time. The weekend, if you are looking to trade, should definitely be the time to delve into the markets and see what's going on. But Connor actually found the USD Swiss, and we were talking about it off air. I've got the daily chart up here, guys, for anyone that has MT4, and it's interesting. So obviously this week, if you are a higher time frame trader, and Connor and I would probably say start at that. If you're new, don't jump into scalping the 1 minutes because what would you say, Connor, to that? That's
Yeah,
not really.
it gets intense. It gets intense pretty quickly. You start to do the lower time frames. You've taken 5 trades midweek, and you might be down 6%. If you're betting 2%, or
Yeah,
you're risking 1%.
yeah.
You have 4 trades down. You're down 4%, and that makes a difference when you're looking at your account.
Oh yeah, yeah, and especially for a beginner because they're not really used to dealing with
Yeah.
losing trades. Like that's a part of the game, everyone. But if you're new, you have no idea what to expect, what your stats are. You haven't back tested, so you're just like,
Especially if you're trading, semi sort of just a retail trader. If you're trading the 4 hour or the daily, you kind of know what to expect, and you can work your income even around. It's like, oh, okay, it's down
yeah,
1%
yep,
this week.
yep,
Might equate to $50 or something like that if you've got a larger account. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, so you can sort of go, okay, well, that's something I can live with. However, if you're starting out and you're trading the 5 minute chart and you're down $50, $100, 6 hours into the trading week, you might not know what's to come for the rest of the week.
that's right. It can turn pretty unpleasant. And then the whole week, if it's all red, you're like, you haven't really learned anything because you've just been impulsively trading. And that normally reflects in the P&L as well. You sort of like haven't done really any good trades. You haven't learned much. You've lost money. You're like, well, trading's terrible. And normally that's when people give up. Like it can be that easy to do that though. So that's why we're sort of more focused on the high time frames. It's a lot harder to get manipulated with in regards to price action that targets stop losses and things like that. And on the 1 minute, there's a lot of parties that just obviously know where people put stops, the majority of the time, so they'll target that, and you've got to sort of be a little bit wary of the bigger picture thing with trading the lower time frames. So just a brief overview of the Swissy. So the US dollar we saw was a little weaker at the start of the week, and then it sort of did rally, and it rallied better than everything else. So the euro, it weakened against the euro, the US dollar, the Aussie, the Kiwi, everything. We had a look at everything just before, guys. So this is probably the best sort of trending-ish setup that we can find. The Aussie dollar hasn't really done enough right now to sort of talk about it in detail. But if you were looking at this and you're like, well, let's just buy this straight away. I bought this on the 4th of October, that little thumbs up thing there, and it didn't work out. Obviously, I had an attempt at it, but if you look to the left, you can say, okay, so price has tried quite a lot to get through this sort of area, especially the whole dollar. It really has. So just looking at that on a weekly, even you can say, okay, it's the weekly candle closed pretty strong, but if you zoom back out again, you can say it needs just a little bit more. So I'll be looking for maybe a Tuesday daily candle to close well, and then I'd probably enter that. If it gets over this area here and closes at $1 and something, I'd be pretty interested to get in. And the stop loss is just set at the 55 moving average. So, but I'm moving a few other ideas where stop losses are placed and things like that in regards to. I mean, you could even put it down to the low of those previous candles last week where they sort of wicked a bit. You could put it down there even. That's enough of a stop. I mean, what's your take on this, Connor? What would you have to see to take a trade on this potentially?
Yeah. Look, on here it's a bit funny because if you go down to the even lower time frames, like you look at the 15-minute, 5-minute, there's been absolutely no volatility at all. Now, it's sort of sitting in a range at the moment. I'd really have to see a strong bullish move up, like a strong candle.
Yeah.
However, I've got resistance at about the $1, so 1.0013.
Yeah.
And
yep.
So that's a gamble there. I probably wouldn't take anything until it punched through that.
Yeah.
And then I would start to see if there's any setups, because by the time the next candle closes that I like, if it's big bullish one, big sort of bullish candle, it'd be hitting around resistance anyway.
Yep.
So I'm not particularly interested at the moment. This is what talking on the 4-hour chart, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty telling on the 4-hour, isn't it? Like how condensed the candles are. And I think it's I've got the Dow Jones up here on the other screen, and there's little news snippets of CNBC and ABC News and everything, and a lot of it's to do with the US-Saudi relations. So a lot of people, it seems they're not so bullish right now until things are sort of worked out a little bit, because obviously they had that. I don't know if the journalist he was an American resident, and he went to Saudi Arabia and he went missing. So they're just trying to smooth all that out. But again, guys, it just seems there's a bit of uncertainty. Like there's not a lot of participants flooding in and buying the USD Swiss. So like kind of said, there's just nothing spectacular to talk about though as well. So when it's like this, that's why we discuss about backtesting and not trading. So if you just come in here and you're like, well, I've got to trade, then that's really, then you become a participant that's probably going to be losing. Like 90+% of the people that do trade do lose, and then you don't really, and then eventually something will happen. You just have to wait for it though. So it's patience. It's tough, but I mean, it's like you said, Connor, it's just not worthwhile getting involved with this at all. Now, what I might do is, we were discussing the Aussie dollar. I guess we might as well just sort of see and just discuss a few thoughts on that, because there is a lot of potential there still, because China again is really sort of slowing down a lot, and that's going to affect us. So this is like a mixed fundamental and technical play, which we we don't do a whole lot of fundamentals, but definitely noteworthy to talk about, I think. So Connor, you were talking about you'd really like to see this get to 72 odd. Resistance.
Like try and break through the 71.8,
Yep.
get up to 72, and then get rejected and go back down. That would be ideal if that could happen in one daily candle, something like that. That would be ideal. If you look at the weekly again, it's just a strong move down.
Yeah, it is.
Like really strong. And like said, like with the fundamentals, like they're Australia's largest trading partner. They're not doing particularly great, which is going to it's going to have an impact on us. So I can't see why it would get back up to like 73 anytime soon with the sort of fundamental. I've got that sort of fundamental bias. I'm not really sort of like, if a good trade turned up technically, I would take it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it just kept going down, just based on
That's right, guys. I mean, it's something to sort of pay attention to. The overall context of everything. You got the America-China trade war. That's obviously going to affect Australia because we send all our imports to China, like most of our imports. So you don't really have to be an economist to sort of realize that it's going to for the Aussie to really reverse. And also with the interest rates going up slowly, with the banks, they're putting up themselves against the RBA, so that's going to squeeze people. There's just a lot of stresses going on, so close one to watch. I would say this has the most potential. That's why we're talking about it. Like, it's not, something you sell and it's going to just collapse tomorrow. It's something like a longer term play that we definitely think it's worth talking about. So
also too, it's tried to get towards 70. Like, not really. It got down, I think, to like 70, 78.8, something like that.
Yeah. You did.
So
yeah.
If it got past there again, it would. I'd think it could even go past, towards 69, and then there could be panic stations.
Yeah, I think psychologically it would be pretty. Yeah, people would just be
70 would be massive if it broke through 70.
Yeah.
So that psychological barrier, I can't see why it wouldn't go down to.
Yeah.
It wouldn't go down to 60.
I've just zoomed out on the weekly as well, just to finish with this, because the people watching this guy, I mean, it's sort of, like we said, we're not sort of talking about scalping or whatever. It's more, you would just set and forget with this, but I mean, it could really start tumbling pretty hard. So I think that's our insights on the Aussie dollar, guys. So now I think that was about it. We were going to discuss the Dow Jones a little bit. I'll just bring this up because we haven't gone too long. Like where it sort of finished the session yesterday at, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster actually. I've got the 1 month up. It moved up slightly yesterday, but as you can see, guys, people are sort of, I wouldn't say, people are sort of saying it's a panic. Is it a correction? It seems to have sort of held a little bit. It hasn't completely fallen off the cliff. I mean, what's your sort of take on this? You've got that 1 month chart up, don't you, as well?
I think correction. It all comes down to the language that people want to use.
Yeah.
This all happened because of Italy, which is the third biggest economy, I believe, in Europe.
Yep, correct. Yep.
Now, is it a panic that Italy's can't handle its debt? I would say it is. It's not the end of the world yet, but the same as the last financial crisis, how that happened, that all started from Iceland going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, everyone said, well, who the hell are Iceland? Like, why would we care? And then after that, banks started going bankrupt around the world. And then it all, and then everything went down in America in 2008. But that all started from Iceland. So is Italy going to be the one that starts it?
Gosh.
Tune in for more.
Yeah, it is. It's something interesting to watch, guys. But we just thought we'd touch base on that as well. And I think that's about it. Any final words to finish up, Connor?
No, I think we covered it.
Yeah, no, that's it, guys. And again, if you've got any questions, leave a comment. We're happy to help. And we'll be back again. I think Saturdays seem to work, don't they? Because you're working a lot, I'm working a lot. It's sort of and then everyone can see how the market finished. And that's right. Anyway, guys, again, thank you for watching. Thanks, Connor, again for joining us.
Thank you, Scotty.
And enjoy your weekend, guys. Bye for now.